It is Sam Kelly Day, honoring 25 years of encouragement from Sam, of her stories, of her glimpses of her life. Her husband Carlos joins us. You know, Carlos used to work here at Spirit 105.3 for a lot of years, and that's where you fell in love with Sam. So I figured for today, as we honor your wife, will you give us a little behind the scenes glimpse? I was here when it happened, but I want to know from your angle, when did you fall in love with our Sam?
Let's see. It's funny. Working at the station at the time, it was funny. We didn't actually work together per se because she always came in really early, and I came in a little bit later in the day and worked with my clients and that kind of a thing. But one thing I remember is that I had a commercial for her to do, and I was like, well, I had this client who wanted us to have a female voice for the commercial. And I wanted it done in a male voice. That sounds weird to say this about falling in love with Sam. But in any event, I wanted it to be in a male voice. But this client was like, no, play it in a female. I want to have a female announcer do it. And if I don't like it, then I'll go with your suggestion of a male voice. I was like, okay, great. So I remember handing the script to Sam to do the commercial. I didn't give her any instructions, anything. I just because I didn't want her to do a good job or whatever. I was like, okay, this won't be very good. So I just handed it to her and kind of walked away. And so she sent me the spot. I said, okay, I'm just going to send it to the client, see what happens, And I didn't even listen to it or whatnot. So I sent it over to the client. He sends me back this email. He emails that, call me right now. I got to talk to you. Call me right now. And I was like, okay, well, I don't know it's going to be that bad, but we'll see what he says. So he calls me. He's like, oh, my gosh, that's even better than I thought. Oh, my gosh, that's such a great commercial. I was like, oh, really? Really? He's like, yeah, well, that's exactly what I wanted, I said, okay, well, let me just play it real quick. And I played it, and I was like, oh, man, he's right. This thing is dynamite. This thing is like the best thing ever. It's like, oh, man. So, that was just an example I remember where I was like, wow, she gets it. She gets it. It's not even a radio thing. It's like this service thing, and she wanted to do a really good job for him to make his business sound good, and she did a great job of it, and he had great results from that,
Yeah.
Yeah, and there was another story I was trying to remember. It came to me, then it left, but
It'll come back.
Yeah, it's funny because it's kind of work-related stuff and this kind of a thing. But
Sam does everything with excellence.
Yes, she puts her whole self into it. Every ounce of all of her talent, all of her experience, all of her heart into it, and I think it really shows through. I feel very fortunate. I'm like, man, I don't know how I got her, but there is a guy. God is awesome. Oh, I shared this story. I did a sermon at the church one day. And I shared this story. I don't know if people want to hear it or not, but when I was younger, I had this infatuation with Africa. I was like, oh man, Africa's great. So I was 18 years old. I said, I told my mother, I'm going to marry a woman from Africa. We call it motherland. I want a woman from the motherland. I told God, I was like, God, I want to marry a woman from motherland, and that's what I really want, this kind of a thing. Well, I did get married once before. That didn't go so well. She was from Florida, which is close, but whatever, And so it's funny because I was dating Sam, and we're kind of getting to know each other, whatever. And she was like, she told me she was born in Africa. I was like, what? I said, wow, God is amazing how he comes through to give you these, these ideas of things you want. You're like, God, please give it to me. And it's like, okay, it's going to be a different package than what you might expect, but it's going to be better than what you can imagine. It's like,
so good.
God is always good. So always. So,
yeah. She was born in Kenya.
She was born in Kenya. Mm-hmm. Her dad was working for the government. Yeah.
I remember because my daughter wanted to go to Kenya on a mission trip a couple years ago when she was 17. And I was like, I knew in my heart that the Lord was calling her to go there, but I was having a hard time letting her go. And so, of course, I reached out to Sam because I knew that Sam would encourage me to let go. But Sam goes, I was born in Kenya. You send that girl to Kenya.
Yes.
And I did.
Yeah.
I did because Sam said so. So, okay, Carlos, so you talked a little bit about, her work ethic, second to none. She does everything with excellence. You talked about getting to know her. Tell us about proposing to Sam. When did you know, okay, I want to marry her. I'm going to propose?
Ooh, wow, wow, that's a good question. So, to be frank with you, I knew from our like second date I
Mm.
wanted to marry her. We had worked together for a while, and we had worked together for 2 years at least before we ever even went out on a date or anything like that. Before we even paid any attention to each other in that respect. And I knew from when I actually had a chance to sit down and talk to her for. So here's what happened. On our first date, we had like a lunch at Canyon's restaurant right there in that Mount Lake Terrace area. It's not there anymore. I think it's Mazatlan. But on the second date, we were supposed to go see Lord of the Rings, the second movie in that series or whatnot. And so Sam is funny because she had she had this way where she's like, I'll just go to the theater. I'm sure we'll have a chance to watch. I'm not going to look at a showtime or buy tickets ahead of time. I'm just going to pop up and let's do it. I was like, okay, we can do that. So because of her kind of free spiritedness, we get there, but the movie's totally sold out. Totally sold out. So we went up to the theater. They're like, nope, we're sold out for the day. No tickets available now or even later in the day. I said, okay. So what that did, it caused us to just walk around. We went down to that was Mount Lake Terrace. We went down to the Edmonds and just walked along the waterfront for about 2.5 hours. So that was our second date. So we just walked around, and then we went back to the car and talked for another hour. Then we went and walked around the waterfront one more time. And I knew on that day I was like, wow, I would love to be married to her. I thought that she was just an awesome person. She had a great heart, a great spirit, super funny. And, she likes having fun, so we laugh a lot. We laugh at ourselves a lot, and that's okay. We have an outlook of, we love the world. We love people around us. She's built like that where she just loves on people all the time. And I was like, you know what? This is the person I want to marry. And I didn't know then. She didn't know. It took her another 2+ years to figure it out, but and so it's funny. I did these promotional cruises back then, and so there was this cruise that was sponsored by Keel Mortgage back in 2004, and we're on this cruise ship, and it's funny. We were on a break. It was like she wasn't my girlfriend, but even though she worked at the station, but at this point, I don't know. It was just one of those things you go through or whatnot. But we were on this cruise ship or whatever, and it was a 7-day Alaska cruise, and we weren't there as like boyfriend or girlfriend. I'm working on this, this promotional cruise. She's there as the talent and this kind of a thing, and just talking about life and where we were, and this kind of a thing. I think, that's when she said she thought, I was the one she wanted to marry, and so a couple weeks later, we went to visit her parents in Montana. And I proposed to her